If you go into most churches and sit down at one of the pews, you'll usually find a hymn book and sometimes a Bible. However, if you go into most Anglican churches, you'll find something extra, a prayer book. Prayer books are very important for Anglicans as they are the source of how we conduct our private and public worship. While being the standard of worship, they are also the form of the basis of our beliefs. This can be summed up in the Latin saying, lex orandi, lex credendi. That is, the law of prayer is the law of belief. What services can one find in these prayer books? Pretty much any worship service, such as morning and evening prayer, Holy Communion, baptism, confirmation, marriage, funeral services, you name it. For Anglicans, our prayer books are traced back to Thomas Cranmer, the Archbishop of Canterbury in the 16th century. Before the English Reformation, clergy would have to use multiple different liturgical books for conducting private and public worship. For example, a missal would be used to conduct communion, a brevity would be used to conduct daily prayers, a manual would be used to conduct occasional services such as baptism and marriage, and a pontifical, which would be used to hold services needed to be performed by a bishop. At the same time, each diocese of the church could have its own version of these books. Archbishop Cranmer decided to combine all these books into a single book for use throughout the whole of England, and in 1549 he published the first Book of Common Prayer, which was backed up with an Act of Parliament which made the services in it the only lawful form of worship to be used in England. The Book of Common Prayer was also unique in that the services in it were English, the language of the people, rather than Latin. As well, the laity had full access to these books, as before only the clergy typically had so. Fast forward today, and the various Anglican churches throughout the world are still using prayer books fairly similar to the one originally created by Archbishop Cranmer. The Church of England, the mother church of Anglicanism, still uses a Book of Common Prayer published in 1662, although it has now been highly supplemented by a series called Common Worship. In the United States, the Episcopal Church uses a Book of Common Prayer they produced in 1979. The Anglicans of Australia used the 1995 book called A Prayer Book for Australia. Here in the Anglican Church of Canada, we have two main prayer books. Our current Book of Common Prayer, which came into use in 1962, and the Book of Alternative Services, produced in 1985, which has largely supplanted the 1962 book. So if you ever want to find out what Anglicans really believe, you can do so by looking in that extra book in the pew. Or you could just look online at any of these links below.